What's up, guys? Welcome to a spoiler-free review. I hope everybody had a great Easter weekend, and I'm here to talk about a new film that just dropped on Shudder very recently, I think in the last week, called The Cellar. Obviously, this is not to be mistaken with another film called The Cellar from '89, I believe, which I reviewed for my 31 Days of Horror. This is brand new with Alicia Cuthbert, and she has not popped up in anything from my recollection for a bit, so she's definitely playing a way different role than she usually does in Girl Next Door kind of style. She's playing the mother of this girl named Ellie and this boy named Steve, and she is recently married to this gentleman from Ireland. Now, this is an Irish production with Alicia Cuthbert playing an American, and it's kind of weird the way they they utilize the accents. At least I had a really hard time knowing where everybody's from. Other than Alicia Cuthbert, the kids kind of went back and forth with Irish accents and American ones, and even the father kind of went back and forth too. Even though it's kind of made apparent that he's the one from Ireland, and they kind of started to live there, kind of thing. But basically, this film is about they move into this home. Alicia Cuthbert has a job basically creating computer apps and computer programs and computer social networks, pretty much that target teens, kind of thing. And her daughter goes missing in the home. So there's a phone call scene in between while she's at work, between her and her daughter, and she disappears in the cellar, of course, in this really creepy way, which I won't spoil. But that was one part of the film which I personally wasn't really a fan of, like entirely. I wasn't a fan of this film. That was genuinely creepy in the way that they created the dialogue and created the whole situation in which she goes missing. This film is shot well, and this film is written kind of decently, I would say. The characters, I mean, the subject matter and the material and the plot direction and the way the film, like the cinematography going on, was pretty well done. Everything else around that is 100% generic. This film is packed with things you have seen before, and in my opinion, just done better. None of the characters react to any situations realistically and believable, and it's kind of a snooze fest, unfortunately. And I might be in the minority with a lot of people, because if you're really into haunted house stories, it might, float your boat completely. So I'm not going to say don't go out and watch it. But if I'm going to give my own recommendation, I really can't, because this film is just a collection of things that have been done so many times before in the genre, and creepy things, sure, but nothing new at all. And everything is just so average at best, is basically how I can put this film. Basically, there's scenes where she starts to discover things around the house, such as, writings on the wall and Greek writings. There's a phonograph, one of those old ass, old fashioned record players with the bell on it that you would see in the 20s and stuff like that, with a recording from somebody who used to live in the house. That gets played into the plot. Um, I found it cool how the daughter is dealing with a bunch of teen issues, especially involving bullying, and there's a way that the plot goes where they think that she ran away. How they act about it is not believable in my opinion, but that's kind of their first conclusion, and they're assuming that she's just having some teen angst, is going to come back and whatever. But it's just kind of ironic, the job title that the mother has, knowing everything about teens and teen apps and stuff like that, yet her own daughter is suffering from bullying and things that the mother is kind of neglectful on and has no idea about, and doesn't really kind of I wouldn't say not care, but definitely doesn't take the effort to do anything about, or use her knowledge of teen social life to kind of fix it. It's really ironic, especially to real life, when it comes to parent teen relationships and stuff like that. But the third act kind of starts to go a little bit more creepy and more visual, like in the visualness of the production, it starts to really amplify the visual aspects of it. So, and I'm a visual person when it comes to film, so I could appreciate some things that they did, but it definitely didn't save the film in a sense where I started to enjoy it a lot more or anything like that, because it would do some cool things for like 10 seconds, and then it would just go back to being generic, and it's like it's a forgettable film at I mean, as a final conclusion, that's pretty much what I could say, is it's forgettable. But that's just that's just what I find on it, and I have already read other people's reviews and heard other people's reviews that rave the film. So, Shudder released it for a reason, and Shudder picked it up for a reason, and it's great seeing Alicia Cuthbert do something that, because I really never seen her in horror from my recollection. But and like I said, she's playing a different character than what I've remembered her playing, kind of thing. And since I haven't seen her in anything in a while, it's cool to see her back. But I don't know. It's just a meh film with a mess story, and just forgettable. And it didn't really do much for me, honestly. I can take it or leave it, and I certainly won't be watching it again. But stream it because it's on Shudder. If you already have Shudder, why not? It's not long. It's an hour and a half max. I think it's less than that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more real soon, so stay tuned for that. Until then, have a great night. Take care and cheers.